Good evening. I'd like to welcome you to Albany City Council meeting May 15th, 2025 at 6 p.m. I'll now call the meeting to order. Would you please all join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty. Thank you. City Recorder, can you please have a roll call, please?
Counselor Smith.
Here.
Counselor McGee. Counselor Newton-Azor.
Present.
Counselor Thompson. Counselor Montague.
Here.
Counselor McLeod.
Present.
Mayor Johnson.
Here. So I've made a slight adjustment to the calendar. So I'm moving the presentation, it's not on here. We didn't realize it was going to be available today. So every year, there's a contest the Oregon Mayors Association sponsors called If I Were Mayor. And since I started the program here in Albany 4 years ago, our young people have shined. First, second, or third, and our local winners are here for Albany first place winners. And we've also shined at the state level. So I'm excited to have you here today. And there's a slide up on the poster, on the monitors. And I've invited the local winners to come present to us their project. So the first speaker will be Alice Wagner from North Albany Elementary School. Allison? Alice? Yep, face us at the microphone. You're having a conversation with us.
Okay. That sounds easy enough. So I did my poster because I was inspired by my artistic abilities in drawing and what my parents had said about what they wanted in our community. The green spaces and poster boards and things were from me seeing like missing posters on lamp posts and things like that. And green spaces were inspired by what we were learning in our classroom, in our reading books. So I drew the poster with inspiration from multiple different things. And donation centers and volunteer centers, I came up with the idea because we need a lot of volunteers to help with problems around our city that don't normally come up a lot, but there's still problems that we can fix. Trash cans, I also got the idea from because I've seen a lot of litter around. And it's not really a good thing for our environment when we throw trash on the ground and just leave it there. So I came up with the idea, and many people thought it was a good idea in my class, so they asked me, and they put it on their posters as well. And I'm hoping to see some of those around our city because they help a lot, and they are effective, so.
So I have a question. What inspired you to put the bridge on there?
Well, every couple of days I have sports practice, but it's all at rush hour times when everybody's trying to get home. So there's a lot of traffic and we aren't always on time. So.
Okay. Council, do you have any questions for Alice?
What grade are you in?
5th.
5th grade? How fun.
Okay. Please, just Councilor Montague.
I love the idea of having more public trash cans. That's something that I've actually been trying to champion. So I really appreciate that you're also in favor of that. Thank you.
So, you have anything, Marilyn?
I'm just impressed with how perceptive you are and how much you observe the community as you go to school and go to practice and so on. You're noticing missing notices, and that's very perceptive. A lot of people don't look at the details. So thanks for noticing.
Councilor McGee?
I love the drawing. Very good. Congratulations.
Councilor McLeod?
I love that you mentioned that you had the idea for the trash can and then you shared that idea with your peers and you championed that effort to have them all add it to their posters. I really love that enthusiasm. And I want to say, I love your idea for a mural wall. As part of the Arts Commission, I tried to work to get murals put up in Albany, and that's something that we're continuing to do. So I think it's a great idea to have more murals around the city. Thank you for that. I
Counselor
love your
Thompson?
ideas.
Thank you, Counselor. Counselor Thompson, you have anything? Counselor Newton-Azor?
I'm just really impressed. You did a great job.
So I will tell you this, not only was I impressed and the councils were impressed, but also mayors on the selection committee for a state position were impressed, and you won third place in state. So you have a $100 check coming from them and a $100 check coming from me. So I'll get those checks to you as soon as I possibly can. I forgot them, I left them back at my desk. So Matt, you want to take a picture of this? Yep. So Alice, well done. So the process for selecting posters is I actually lay all the posters out on the table and review them one at a time and eliminate them till I get to the one that draws my attention and makes the most sense for her going forward as mayor. So she did a wonderful job. Next is our middle school entrant, Asmi Larson. She wrote an essay, and the essay elimination process is interesting in that I read each essay 4 times, and I eliminate them based on what our strategic plan says and what they see in the community, what I assume they see in the community. And Asmi, she rose to the top, so Asmi Larson, would you please come up and share your essay with us?
Mayors play a remarkable role in how a city functions. Their job can be stressful with the amount of responsibility, organization, and leadership it takes. Not only that, you need to be able to make quick decisions and be an exceptional public speaker. This is only naming a few of the things it requires to be a mayor. If I were mayor of Albany, our beautiful hub city, I would work towards a strong, connected community where everyone can be heard. The City of Albany's plan is built on 3 foundational elements: our mission, our vision, and our values. We must always remember this when making changes. Together, we can make Albany a better city by ensuring the safety of our citizens, maintaining a healthy economy, and keeping our government effective. One of the main things that I would focus on is the safety and comfortability of our citizens, especially for the youth that walk or bike around town, whether to school, the mall, or to a restaurant. Coming from a middle schooler who walks to school and enjoys biking, this is important because we want them and their families to have good memories of safety in our small city. We need to ensure that all the crosswalks are working and clear to see for everyone. Not only that, they need to be easy to cross for all people, even people with a disability. This makes it easier for drivers to keep pedestrians and other drivers free from danger. But you must remember that it's not only the driver's responsibility to keep everyone safe. The outcome is also held in the pedestrians' hands. Our citizens need to be educated on the rules of the road, even if they are not driving. I would host a program that helps people understand the importance of traffic safety and the consequences of not following the rules properly. Another thing I would work on is keeping a stable, healthy economy. Albany earns a lot of money from things like the Art and Air Festival, so I'd brainstorm with my city council things we could do to keep the flow of people coming to our city, including a bigger, better farmers market. The Albany Farmers Market runs most Saturdays from April to November, typically from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. This is a great opportunity for small businesses to get their name into the community by sharing their products and services. But what if it was more? Could we make it more enjoyable for all ages? We can. We can invite more people to come and share with the community and plan different events and activities for all ages. Next, I would make sure that the citizens of Albany have opportunities to express their concerns or what they think they're doing well in. This matters to a lot of people because people like being heard and appreciated. We would ensure that people feel like they can talk to my city council and me about problems. I want to make sure that we can address as many problems and find as many solutions as we can. Not only that, I would be eager to come to many events around Albany, showing that I really do care. I'd show up and be excited to interact with the citizens of the city I care about and work to make better. This would be an opportunity for people to talk to me more casually, which for some people is a lot more comfortable. Being the mayor of Albany would be a great opportunity to learn and grow. If I were mayor of our small, beautiful city, filled with great opportunities and great people, I would strive to connect us as a community, because together we can make Albany a more safe, accessible, and comfortable place for all of our citizens. Thank you.
Thank you. And so, as I mentioned, I read each essay 4 times, and I eliminate them until I come back to one I have to read again. And when I submit our winners to state, when I was moved to the waiting room, I came back and asked me number one in state. So with that, she'll be receiving a $500 check from the Oregon Mayors Association, and her family's will be invited to attend our next conference. I think it's in Pendleton, Baker City, and we're paying for everything. So I'm looking forward to seeing you there on August 14th through 16th. And again, congratulations for doing a great job. This is the fun part of the job. Big round of applause for that. Next on tonight's oath, again, ladies, thank you very much for the work you've done on the contest, and I look forward to seeing you oh, by the way, you have to read that essay at the presentation at the mayor's conference. In front of like 200 mayors, so I'm looking forward to seeing you there.
No pressure.
No pressure. Next on tonight's agenda is the consent calendar. Council?
I move we approve the consent agenda as is written.
I would like to,
She started speaking.
I want to pull item 3D5, the supplemental agenda, supplemental portion of the consent agenda.
I move we approve the consent agenda minus 3D5.
I second that motion.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed?
No.
Okay, motion passes. So, Councilor Smith?
I've asked to pull the supplemental agenda resolution amendment because it was introduced on Monday at the end of a work session without being on the agenda. And the council quickly made a motion to adopt it, motion second, vote without any discussion. And I believe we owe it to the public to discuss why it's on the agenda and why it was approved in that manner. So I'm looking for that council discussion in the interest of transparency.
Council?
Kick it off.
So I have a statement as well, before as we start discussion. My statement this evening is solely my position on the matter of specialty or commemorative flags being displayed or flown at Albany City Hall. The current adopted policy already allows for organizations to come to the council for permission to fly a specialty flag for a specified period of time. I am not in support of flying any flag, any specialty flag in perpetuity, and I wholeheartedly believe that our current policy, adopted 2 years ago, is the best way to manage specialty flag requests brought before council. We are an inclusive community. I am not in favor of taking steps to detract from that inclusivity. We have so much to do, and we need to approach our challenges in a unified way. I remind this council that we are a nonpartisan council, and we are elected to govern from the lens of nonpartisanship. Yes,
As
please.
somebody who proposed this amendment, my rationale for this, it formalizes the city council's commitment to inclusivity and support for the LGBTQIA+ community by ensuring the annual display of the Progress Pride flag each June. It reflects the council's previous actions and reinforces Albany's dedication to diversity and equity.
Discussion?
I have an additional statement. First, I'd like to acknowledge the email messages that I received yesterday and today from people in support of the amendment. I received messages from 6 individuals. My position on flags other than government flags on government buildings is unchanged from 2 years ago. I believe that the United States flag and the flag of the state of Oregon represent everyone in the state of Oregon and in Albany. We recited the Pledge of Allegiance at the beginning of this meeting, as we always do. It ends with the phrase, "with liberty and justice for all," and I believe all means all. Flags have been used over time and particularly recently to express political opinion that is inherently divisive. They distract from the important business of government and fuel bad feelings among different groups who won't take the time to talk to each other, listen to each other, and try, for the sake of decency, to hear each other. The Albany City Council has work to do tonight and in the months ahead that affect everyone who lives and works here. And we need to do that work without the distraction of something that doesn't need to be done. We have flags that represent everyone. We need to be focused on the task of government and those responsibilities which affect everyone in the area. And that is my position. Thank you.
Councilor McLeod.
Thank you, sir. You'll have to bear with me. I'm losing my voice, so this might take me a minute. After Monday's meeting, we received several written public comments regarding the display of the Progress Pride flag at City Hall, and I have some comments of my own. One comment we received cited Oregon Revised Statute 186, specifically subsection 110, regarding display of state flag and the POW/MIA flag on public buildings, or at public buildings. After consulting with the city attorney on this matter and having read the entirety of the ORS 186 myself, I can assure you that nowhere in that statute does it say we may only fly the American, state, and POW/MIA flags. It does not say that those are the only 3 flags that may be flown. Because of our flagpole restrictions, the POW/MIA flag is properly displayed in the plaza-facing window here at City Hall, properly displayed in accordance with Title IV, Paragraph 7 of the United States Flag Code. The plaza window is also where the Progress Pride flag will be properly displayed should this pass. Additionally, I confirmed with our city manager that there are currently no plans to replace the current flagpole. Furthermore, as an Army veteran myself, I do not take kindly to being told that my actions or actions that I contribute to are disrespectful towards our nation's flag. I am keenly aware that these are enduring symbols of shared sacrifice, governance, and remembrance of the sacrifices that I and my fellow service members have endured. Thank you.
Any other council? Councilor Thompson?
Yeah, I don't have a prepared speech of any kind. It was a quick and easy vote for me on Monday because it reflects the values I hold and the values I hold my neighbors hold. And that's why I reference being here on behalf of my neighbors constantly. And that is what I'm here to do. And they want to see a city, this flying this flag is an example of government free speech. A majority of us, have a duty to kind of set the tone for the organization. And this flag is just a symbol for June to go along with our Pride activities. And it's going to fly in June. I mean, I don't see, that vote was quick because it's very simple. And frankly, it's budget season. I've spent a lot of time on the budget. I've spent a lot of time on other things. This doesn't distract from the time I spend on those activities. It's an expression of my values, the values of my neighbors, and I wholeheartedly support it. And I support it. I felt like on Monday, Councilor Montague said it perfectly, and she said it perfectly again. I wholeheartedly support that. So that makes for a quick vote.
Thank you. Councilor McGee?
I just want to say it does seem a little disingenuous that we would go back on something that we did 2 years ago, and we were pretty unanimous up here. We were pretty solid on our position. And so I just think that it seems disingenuous to go back on something that we solidified a couple years ago.
So my biggest concern is in perpetuity. That means forever.
Yeah, and
Well,
it's an amendment. Amendments can happen.
was somebody going to call the question?
I would move that we approve the consent agenda item 3D5.
Second that.
We already had a motion in a second. I'm just calling it. Somebody going to call the question?
No, you didn't have it for this
didn't have
specific
Oh,
item.
that's specific, okay.
So I move
So-
to approve consent agenda item 3D5.
I have a motion.
And a second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
No.
Thank you. Consent agenda is adopted. Next on tonight's agenda is,
Mr. Mayor, can I just make a point that the flag, because of the limitations that Councilor McLeod talked about with our flagpole, the flag will be displayed, as she mentioned, inside the City Hall window. The flagpole is not tall enough to accommodate 3 flags, especially when you lower the national ensign to half staff. And then the flags at the lower end can get damaged on the building. So that's the reason for that.
thank you. So we have a motion that passed 5-1. Let me write that down. 5-1. Next on tonight's agenda is several presentations. The first one, item A, is presentation of 2024 Police Awards. Chief Marshal Harnden will be here with us doing the presentation.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. It's an honor to be here again on the anniversary. This is Police Week, as we call it. May 15th is the National Police Memorial Day. It became recognized in 1962 by President Kennedy, and we celebrate it every year. The reason why we do this is, yes, it's to remember the number of fallen officers across the country and remember them always, but also to recognize the really great acts of bravery and other very, very gracious acts towards our community and recognize some really outstanding leaders within our department. So bear with me, we've got a lot, which says a lot to our community members about the good works of the police department. And I'm gonna call individual employees up. Most everybody's here for every incident. I will be reading one where we have people out of town, but it's worthy of noting in front of the entire council. So bear with me here. So Lieutenant Alex Johnson, Sergeant Curtis Bell, and Officer Corey Turnbull, can you come up? As they're coming up, I will read this. On December 12, 2023, the Albany Police Department responded to a 911 hang-up call. When Lieutenant Alex Johnson arrived on scene, he encountered a male armed with a machete. That male had significant bleeding from profuse, deep lacerations in his arm. Lieutenant Johnson engaged the male in conversation, and he dropped the machete. Sergeant Curtis Bell and Officer Corey Turnbull arrived and applied a tourniquet to stop the bleeding, which is essential for life preservation, and the bandages, placed those on the individual's arm. He was transported to the hospital via ambulance due to the seriousness of his injuries. It was determined the male was attempting to commit suicide. He ultimately survived after surgery and a mental health evaluation. If not for the quick actions of our officers, this subject would have certainly died from his injuries. So congratulations, gentlemen, well done.
Still getting emails.
That's the other Alex Johnson. Officer Charlie Emery. So this is a life-saving award for Officer Charlie Emery, and you'll notice a trend because she's going to be going home with lots of hardware tonight. Officer Charlie Emery responded to the Highway 34 overpass near Highway 99E after a Lynn County Sheriff's Office deputy requested assistance with the male straddling the edge of the overpass. When Officer Emery learned that the other LCO deputies were a ways out, she decided to respond to the scene from Albany. Upon her arrival, Officer Emery encountered a deputy speaking to the male whose legs were straddling the barriers on the roadway edge on the south side of the overpass. The male was emotional and expressed a desire to die. Officer Emery recognized the male and addressing him by name and inviting him to move away from the overpass edge to obtain water and get warm. Officer Emery and deputies continued to negotiate with the male calmly and professionally over a period of 25 minutes. However, it was not until Officer Emery offered the male a cigarette, it's always good to have cigarettes in your bag, that he came over the edge of the overpass. For the next few minutes, it appeared the male would cooperate by riding in an ambulance to the hospital. As the male smoked a cigarette, Officer Emery was the only person positioned to position herself between the male and the roadway edge. As the male began to walk in the direction of the ambulance, he stopped briefly before sprinting back towards the roadway edge. Officer Emery quickly grabbed the male before he was able to reach that edge. Officer Emery continued to physically struggle with the male, whose torso and head were now over the roadway edge, and the other deputies present were able to assist in taking the male off the edge back to the roadway where he was detained. He was ultimately transported to the hospital for a mental health evaluation. But for Officer Emery's awareness and good judgment, positioning herself in a tactically advantaged way, coupled with her quick response to the male's actions, a strong possibility existed that the male's attempt to leap headfirst over the overpass would have resulted in his death. So congratulations on saving him. Don't go far. So we have a couple of people, as I mentioned, that did not make their word ceremony tonight, so I just want to read these very quickly. It's a life-saving award for Officer Jim Estes, Officer Haley Volbeck, and Officer Valerie Stallford. On April 27th, 2024, Officers Volbeck, Estes, and Stallford responded to a call where a vehicle had crashed into a building. Officer Volbeck observed the female driver in the driver's seat that was unresponsive and did not appear to be breathing. Officer Estes had to force entry into the vehicle, and officers found the female driver was in fact not breathing and did not have a pulse. Officer Stallford immediately initiated CPR as Officer Volbeck obtained her AED from her patrol vehicle. Officer Estes and Officer Stallford continued CPR while Officer Volbeck initiated the AED procedure. The female driver eventually regained a pulse. An ambulance arrived and transported the female driver to the hospital where it was discovered she had suffered a major medical event. Had it not been for the swift and heroic actions of Officers Volbeck, Stallford, and Estes, this female would have certainly died in her vehicle. So congratulations to those. Officer Chris Burby, come on up. On July 2nd, Officer Chris Burby responded to a serious injury motor vehicle crash on the Lion Street Bridge in Albany. The reckless driver had rear-ended two vehicles, one of which had rolled over a motorcyclist who became pinned under the vehicle. The motorcyclist was in and out of consciousness and very seriously injured. Officer Burby solicited the help of nearby witnesses to assist him, courageously made the decision to lift the vehicle so the injured motorcyclist could be pulled out from underneath. And we gotta get in the gym or do something. So more gym time. Lift more vehicles. Courageously, Officer Burby and three witnesses lifted the front of the vehicle while Diego Zambrano, who also witnessed the scene, sprang into action without being asked and pulled the female out. The motorcyclist was taken to Legacy Emmanuel Hospital in Portland with critical injuries, but did survive. If not for his heroic decision, the motorcyclist likely would have perished in that motor vehicle accident. So congratulations. Captain Buck Pierce gets to give his own award to himself. On June 13th, then Lieutenant Buck Pierce, now Captain Buck Pierce, observed a male step over the guardrail of the Pacific Boulevard overpass in Albany. This overpass is above several sets of railroad tracks, and a jump or fall from this height would have likely been fatal. The male was not hanging onto anything and had a 1,000-yard stare and appeared ready to jump. Captain Pierce was able to sneak up behind the male, place him in a bear hug, and pulled him to safety. The male explained his fiancée did not want him any longer, so he was ending his life. He was taken to the hospital where he received a mental health evaluation. If not for the brave and quick actions of Captain Pierce, the subject would have likely acted on his plans to end his life. Congratulations. Officer Michael Norlander. This is an example of when our job really never ends when we get off shift and take off the uniform. So the Norlander family was vacationing in Central Oregon and decided to make a quick stop at Smith Rock to burn some time. He drove up on a man laying on the ground by his truck while his wife and another couple looked very panicked. He learned that this man and his wife had just come from Smith Rock, and while he was leaning over to pour some water for his dog, his heart got out of rhythm, causing him to go into cardiac arrest. While Michael drove up on the scene, he noticed an older couple attempting to start CPR. Michael jumped in to offer his help and took over CPR while they called 911. Michael began CPR and was able to find a pulse after several minutes of CPR. If you've ever done CPR, beyond a couple minutes is extremely tiring. Over several minutes, this was continuing. The victim's wife began giving breaths, in between Michael giving chest compressions. The Deschutes County Sheriff's Office arrived on scene, and then Michael then continued the CPR and was able to get an AED started. Fortunately, the AED detected a pulse and did its part in the process. Michael kept the victim stabilized to keep airflow while waiting for retinue medics to arrive. Michael controlled the scene, requested the deputy's medical kit, which he provided to Michael. He inserted the NPA into the male's nasal cavity to make sure that his airway stayed open while he continued CPR. Upon the fire department arrival, Michael assisted loading the victim into the paramedics unit and to a nearby field where the person was life-flighted to St. Charles Hospital in Bend. The following day, through help of Facebook and Instagram, Officer Norlander was able to locate the family. The next morning, he received an update that the victim had made a full recovery and was awake and talking. The doctors had told the individual if he had not received CPR in a timely and efficient manner as he did, he would not be here today. Even when off duty, Officer Norlander understood that he possessed the skills needed to assist an unknown family in their time of need, which is ultimately what played a crucial role in saving this man's life. Thank you. some other types of cases now, just as awesome. The Medal of Valor for Officer Ben Arthur, Officer Perry Baker, Officer Trevor Eaton, Officer Lee Phelps, Officer Angel Diaz, Officer Brett Adams, and Officer Corey Turnbull. On February 11, 2024, at approximately 2 a.m., these officers responded to a report of a motor vehicle that crashed into the water-filled canal, the City of Albany water treatment plant. Officer Phelps arrived at the scene first and located a vehicle that had careened down a 10-foot rocky slope, landed nose down in the canal, ending up on its top. The narrow width of the canal did not allow the 3 occupants of the vehicle to get out, and they were trapped inside. The flow of water was rapid and very cold. Officer Baker responded quickly and acquired a length of rope that he utilizes for canine training, and he and Officer Turnbull removed their equipment and entered the canal. Officer Diaz arrived and joined Officer Eaton on the slippery and rocky slope. Officer Eaton had acquired several life jackets where he had staged them with other life-saving equipment. Officer Turnbull engaged with the trapped persons while lowering the rope to them. Officer Baker grabbed the coiled rope, threw it over a 6-foot fence, created sufficient leverage to effect the rescue. Officer Phelps scaled the 6-foot fence, chain link fence, to position and anchor the rope on the other side. The officers began pulling on the rope to rescue the first occupant of the vehicle. Officer Eaton and Officer Adams assisted the first rescued occupant who was impaired and became combative, which is always fun. Albany Fire Department personnel arrived and assisted in detaining the subject. While the rescue continued, the vehicle was secured to keep it from flowing further down the canal. A tow truck was also called to the scene to lift the vehicle to allow the rescue of the driver and additional occupant. All of the occupants, despite being saved, were intoxicated and belligerent towards officers, and the driver was ultimately arrested for DUI. The occupants of the vehicle would have reasonably died from drowning or hypothermia if it had not been for the quick and brave actions of these officers. So congratulations. Officer Emery and Chris Burby again. Come on up. On March 6, 2024, Officer Chris Burby and Officer Charlie Emery were dispatched to a warrant service in Albany, which is an arrest to call. The subject was reported to be highly intoxicated. As they attempted to contact the subject, he suddenly appeared from the driveway armed with a knife. He challenged officers and began charging motions at Officer Burby. Officer Burby and Officer Emery deployed less lethal options, but those were unsuccessful. The subject then fled on foot, still holding the knife. Officer Burby and Officer Emery gave chase on foot, directing other officers to the area. Several vehicles were stopped at an intersection, and the subject attempted to carjack one of the drivers that was stopped in the roadway. The subject managed to open the door to an occupied vehicle. Officer Burby and Officer Emery immediately grabbed a hold of the armed subject to keep him from harming the innocent motorist. Both officers fought with the subject in the street until additional officers arrived and he was taken into custody. The subject had menaced officers with a knife, fled, then attempted to carjack an occupied vehicle. If not for their quick and sound thinking, this incident could have ended very differently. So congratulations. Oh, Charlie Emery, come back up here. And Lieutenant Kyle Lieber, come on up. Officer Charlie Emery on June 4th encountered a female in the street attempting to chop down weeds with a pool noodle. That doesn't normally work. Upon contacting the female, she pulled out a pair of scissors, made stabbing motions at Officer Emery, and told her that she was going to cut her while walking quickly towards her. Officer Emery pointed her firearm at the female, who then stopped but did not drop the scissors. It was clear to Officer Emery that the female was having a mental crisis. Officer Emery and a Linn County Sheriff's deputy engaged the female in conversation, while then Sergeant Kyle Libra, now Lieutenant Kyle Libra, and other officers arrived to assist. The subject pointed the scissors at officers and deputies at the scene, spun in a circle, made threatening comments. Lieutenant Libra was able to deploy a 40 millimeter less lethal round, which is a very useful tool for us, which struck the female in the rib cage, causing her to drop the scissors. She was taken into custody without further incident and no injuries were involved. If it weren't for their calm approach to what could be a deadly force situation, this could have ended very differently. So congratulations. Next is Officer Ben Arthur, Officer Blake Miller, Captain Buck Pierce, Officer Corey Turnbull, and we want to make special note of the passing of our canine dog, Canine Chetco. On April 26, 2024, officers contacted a wanted felon in a local hotel in Albany. The person was wanted on warrants for drug charges, vehicle theft, and several firearm-related crimes. Captain Pierce, Officer Miller, Officer Turnbull, Officer Arthur, and his canine partner Chetco encountered the subject on a second-story walkway of the hotel. The wanted subject attempted to flee. Officer Arthur deployed the canine Chetco, and the wanted subject continued to ignore commands from Officers Miller and Arthur. As canine Chetco was engaged, the suspect pulled out a handgun while officers approached. Officer Arthur was able to grab and deflect the muzzle of the firearm. The wanted subject continued to fight with officers on scene. Canine Chetco maintained control until the officers could remove the gun from the subject's hand. The wanted subject was taken into custody and found to be in possession of another firearm in his breast pocket. In the face of imminent danger, these officers and Canine Chetco acted in extraordinary courage and precision, risking their own lives to protect others. When confronted with a wanted felon in a situation where deadly force was justified, they responded with discipline and tactical expertise to successfully disarm the threat. Tragically, Canine Chetco passed away 2 weeks later. His final mission demonstrated his unwavering dedication and bravery, and we will always remember him. Congratulations. Next is Lieutenant Alex Johnson. Every year we do a department-wide award for various sections of the department, and Lieutenant Johnson was chosen as a Supervisor of the Year for 2024. He serves the department in the city of Albany with all of his heart. Routinely, he's worked over his scheduled shift and on his days off to ensure everyone has what they need. He frequently takes calls for service to help patrol teams with managing call load. During holidays, he's worked for other patrol officers so they could take time with their families. Although staffing issues continue, Lieutenant Johnson fosters a positive working environment of determined and motivated patrol officers to provide our continued excellence through service to our community. He applies the same mindset in bringing new ideas on how the department can improve, adapt, and innovate. He's not afraid to tell his boss what to do. He leads with example in maintaining his physical fitness and attitude, and a great attitude of gratitude. Lieutenant Johnson has answered the call multiple times for our trust team, which is our peer support team, and serves all the members of the department any way he can. In 2 separate critical incidents where officers were seriously injured, Lieutenant Johnson was instrumental in the teamwork necessary to care for those officers. Lieutenant Johnson continues to mentor and serve the new recruits in the patrol division as the FTO coordinator and survival skills instructor. Lieutenant Johnson is a pleasure to work with most of the time. And is well respected by his employees and his peers and by myself. This is the 2nd year in a row he's been nominated, and he's well deserving of this award. Gonna make me look tall. All right. Officer Blake Miller, come on up. Officer Blake Miller is our Operations Division Employee of the Year. He is one of the highest producing patrol officers, and if you're a bad guy known to be in the city, he's gonna find you. He has operated at this pace since the start of his career. His passion for proactive policing, dedication to apprehending criminals, and consistent leadership across key performance metrics make him a standout member of our department. His efforts have had a direct and positive impact on public safety, making him a well-deserving candidate for this award. Officer Miller leads the department in multiple statistical categories, demonstrating his proactive approach to policing. Over the past year, he's consistently excelled in several areas, such as arrests, where he made 272 arrests in 2024. He took 276 total cases in 2024, which is the highest in the police department. And his traffic stops, his enforcement efforts have resulted in the identification of wanted individuals and the seizure of illegal drugs. His achievements reflect well on Officer Miller's relentless work ethic and his commitment to reducing crime in our community. What sets him apart is his passion for apprehending offenders and holding them accountable all the way through the criminal justice system. He actively seeks out individuals involved in criminal activity, ensuring justice is served. His ability to identify crime trends, act swiftly on leads, and work collaboratively with his peers has led to the arrest of numerous offenders who pose a threat to public safety. Officer Miller's unwavering commitment to proactive policing and his success in apprehending criminals has set him apart as a leader in our department. His consistent performance, dedication to public safety, and passion for justice make him very well deserving of the operations employee. Congratulations. And communication specialist Kara Sloan. I know I saw her come in. There she is. Come on up, Karen. Karen has been an overachiever since she started her career with us in 2023. Kara's quest for knowledge and dedication to a career that led her to excel during training, advancing through the various phases at a quicker rate than expected. This is not typical of someone who has no prior dispatching or emergency communications experience. Kara has proven herself as a valuable asset with potential new hires. Being the newest member of the team, she's able to provide recent, relevant, and honest summary of her experience going through the training process. Kara continues to excel in her performance. She often arrives early for her shift, is ready to start her shift before her shift officially begins. She is quick to assist other members of the team with tasks that they may be working on. She's willing and capable of taking on extra duties without complaint and completes them with efficient manner. When a task or request requires additional research, Kara does not stop digging until she's found the answer or exhausted every resource or search method. She makes every effort to anticipate the needs of officers in the field, uses her knowledge of events from previous shifts to make sure responding units are fully informed and have all the necessary details to maintain their safety. She does not settle for bare minimum in any task that she takes on. When a teammate is working on a task she is unfamiliar with, she asks questions to expand her knowledge. She's spent most of her career working a shift where she's alone for multiple hours. Her self-reliance, dedication, knowledge has given her the necessary skills to succeed without the assistance of others. Kara comes to work every day with a positive attitude and friendly personality. She treats her teammates and community members with respect and compassion regardless of the attitude they approach her with. She is able to remain calm in stressful situations, not allowing such events to hinder her work performance. Kara's positive attitude and dedication to the career not only make her a valuable asset to the Albany Communication Center, but an asset to the entire department and to the city. She has earned the respect of her teammates, making her someone her teammates look forward to working with. Congratulations. Thank you. Mayor, thank you. If you allow us just a second to get pretty much most everybody out of this
So
room.
what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a 10-minute pause,
Okay.
and so people can vacate and go eat dinner and enjoy their celebration. Police officers, chief, thank you very much for your service to the city of Albany, Oregon. And without you, we wouldn't be a safe place to live. So thank you very much. Be back at 6:59. Next on tonight's agenda, item 4, Bravo, Public Works Week recognition. Director Bailey, pages 45 of your agenda.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Tonight, I want to recognize National Public Works Week. We have 136 employees, so I have 136 I'm just kidding. We do not. But I do want to say that next week is National Public Works Week, May 19th through 25th. We celebrate National Public Works Week to take a moment and specifically recognize the people who keep Albany livable, safe, and who impact our lives every day in multiple ways that we don't often consciously think about. This week's business with the council is full of public works items, not intentionally, but even though there's a lot, it's still just a small sampling of what our department does. From studies of our facilities to sidewalk projects, street sweeping, road improvements, setting utility rates, managing our finances, the Public Works Department is keeping our community safe, healthy, and moving us forward. So I just want to ask you to please take a moment to thank the people who make all of this happen today and throughout the year. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Director. Next on tonight's agenda, item 4B, is Mental Health Awareness Month presentation. Dr. Knowles and Sandy Menta, Lynn County Mental Health.
Thank you, Mayor Johnson. That's Dr. Menta and Mr.
Dr. Menta, I'm
Knowles.
sorry.
That's okay.
They
Thank
didn't
you,
put the
Mayor.
title on here.
And
Sorry
I
about
missed
That's okay.
Mr. Knowles. Thank you very much. And I wanted to thank Eric for chasing me around for the last month while he tried to set this up. I appreciate it. I just kind of wanted to do a little bit of an overview. May is Mental Health Awareness Month. And I try to go around and talk to folks in some of the larger communities to see how things are going and get them to acknowledge that month. You are fourth or fifth on my list, and it always makes me proud to sit in a position like this and see you folks. I see some very new faces, some not so new, but I see some new faces, and just to give you a sense of where the Mental Health Advisory Board comes from, in Lynn County. We're part of the ORS, tries to tell the counties what to do. And part of what is involved is that mental health departments are required to have some kind of advisory committee. Some almost 30 years ago, the developmentally disabled folks and mental health were together. That split about 2007 or so. So we now have the Mental Health Advisory Board, just mental health. Although the current wave is to tie in much more with the alcohol and drug folks, which has been a good combination for us, as you can imagine. Kind of an overall purpose, as you can imagine, with such things. There's a charter that has about 4 pages of, you're going to do this and we're going to tell you what to do and your purpose is. So I'll get it down to a shorter version. Much of what we do is to try to provide information coming from the community so that people like Dr. Minta can know what is needed in the community. And one of my contentions is, and this is often not written well, is that it very much helps the community members to sit in a room with people like the program managers, directors, mayors, and hear their side of the story, because it often gets lost. And one of the things I'm most proud of, I think, is that members of the board walk away with a sense that you folks are really trying very hard. And there's fiscal responsibilities, there's governmental responsibilities, personal differences. And it doesn't make for bad government, it just makes for government. And part of what the board tries to do is to make sure that their thoughts and wisdom are shared and that information goes back and forth. More and more, we're trying to encourage consumers to get involved. We've been very fortunate in the Lynn County Mental Health Advisory Board to have numerous actual users of county services to sit on our board, which is always a very valuable sense of information. The board is comprised, we have 15 openings, or 15 members, slots. We have 12 folks sitting in those 15 slots, which is quite good actually for government kinds of committees. We have retired hospital administrators. We always have someone from the county who's part of the meetings. We meet once a month. We have an RN. Sandy and I were just acknowledging that the police department was talking about some of the difficulties that they had run into, often encompassing some kind of mental health or addiction issue. And we have the probation department represented and have been for quite some time, and that's been just amazingly helpful. We have a veterans slot that's been filled for some time. It's really quite representative, not just of the community, but of the individual specific areas that we all share interest in, each one different. And each one having their own perspective of mental health, mental illness. And I can't tell you how proud I am to be chair of the group. We, over this month, actually a little bit more than a month, but over this month, we try to come around and talk to the individual counties. We also do PSAs. There's a radio PSA going on. Cricket and its subsidiaries, or whatever they call them, is running PSAs. I have yet to hear it. Last year, the only quote I got was somebody heard it at 2 o'clock as they were coming out of a bar. And that's a little beyond my time frame. So I'm hoping that they do. It may be the appropriate time to run them, actually, but I'm hoping it's going on. I don't normally listen to it. We have it there. And we have often been to the VA stand down, and the mayor and I have bumped into each other a time or two as we do these things. And I just wanted to encourage you as individuals, as you meet with your citizenry, that if things come up, you feel like somebody could probably add some information, some of voice. They have their own experience or questions. They're welcome to come. Sorry. And these are public meetings by law, so people don't have to join just to come and give us a piece of their mind. But they will find I'll try to strong arm them and try to get them to join. You know, if you particularly feel like maybe somebody could use an extra boost in the mental health field, contacting Dr. Menta is not a bad idea either. We don't provide the professional service, but we provide the information base to go back to her, and vice versa, I would say. So I'll pretty much end with that. We're open to, well, we have three openings. I'd love to have people join. But you as individuals are always welcome to visit us. We meet fourth Tuesday of each month, 4 to 5:30. Virtually at this point, we were meeting in Albany for years, and then our infamous friend COVID visited, and we've struggled getting back together as most everyone has. So I thank you for that, and we'll pass it on.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor Johnson. So I am Dr. Sandy Minta. I am the new Mental Health Program Manager for Lynn County Mental Health. And I just wanted to speak briefly about some of the exciting things that we have developing at Lynn County Mental Health. A lot of things have been changing and evolving. One of those changes is opening a Crisis Stabilization Center. So we've purchased the building on 7th Street and are in the process of remodeling that. The idea being that it will allow us to better partner with the police department. I feel really privileged actually to be here this evening, getting to hear all of those awards and how many of them were related to mental health, which I frequently hear those stories relayed to me from my crisis team, but getting to hear about the officers that received those awards was really very humbling. So opening the Crisis Stabilization Center is intended to be able to partner with the police department for exactly those cases so that those individuals don't have to be brought to the emergency department, but can be brought directly to us at a stabilization center. So that's hopefully going to be opening next July, so about 1 more year until that opening. In the meantime, we're still expanding our mobile crisis services, and so we do go out into the community now. We are connected to 988, and so I think that's important to spread the word, making sure that individuals know that's how they can get emergency services that then do get dispatched to us at Lynn County Mental Health, and we respond to mental health crises in the community in the same way as calling 911 would dispatch police and ambulance and fire. So if it's not an immediate life-threatening type of a situation, someone can call 988 and get connected to mental health support. I will be brief. I know we've taken up our 10 minutes, so yeah, thank you.
Any questions,
Any
council,
questions?
for Dr. Menta? And
I have one question. The Crisis Stabilization Center, is that at 7th and Elm?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
I know where that's at.
Yeah.
Councilor Newton, are you there?
Oh, I was just gonna say, it's lovely to see you all. I haven't been to one of the Lynn County Mental Health Board meetings in a while, but I'll have to show up soon, and thank you so much for all the work you're doing.
Looking forward to seeing you.
I'd love that.
Councilors? Well, I want to say that, did anybody else have anything? I believe your service is very necessary. I refereed football for 25 years, and I've seen young people in distress. I've seen coaches in distress, parents in distress, and working with my population as far as my business, seniors. I've seen a lot of seniors in our community, clients of mine are in distress as well. And so it's nice to have that number that I can pass on to them saying, you know, because there's loss, and some of those losses are harder than others. So it's nice to have that information in my toolkit so I can help my clients be better. So
Great.
thank you.
Thank you. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Heidi. Okay, next on tonight's agenda is a public hearing for utility rate adjustments. Directions for how to testify and submit written materials were published with the council agenda. I declare the public hearing open at 7:14 p.m. Does the staff have a report? No written materials were submitted by the deadline for this public hearing. Okay, your report, please.
Thank you, Mayor. I gave a detailed presentation on the 3 utilities at Monday's work session, and I'm not going to present that again tonight in the interest of time. But the presentation is available on the city's YouTube channel. For anyone that's interested, you can find it there. The presentation focused on how the department uses utility rate revenue in making debt service payments, in providing a robust operations and maintenance program to provide utility services every day, and in programming capital funds that strike a balance between providing proactive repair, replacement, and expansion of our system while also attempting to keep rates as low as possible. The department has worked hard to make the most of our funding, and we search for efficiencies whenever we can find them. We maintain a financial model to forecast our revenue needs for the next 5 years. Based on the model's forecast, we're bringing the recommended adjustments to the rates to the council. This year, we're doing things slightly differently in that we're asking the council to approve rate increases for both years of the coming biennium. Until now, we've brought this action to the council annually, and we're hoping that the biennial adoption of the rate adjustments would create more certainty in our budgeting for the biennium and would create some administrative efficiency. The recommendation from staff this year is for a 2% per year increase for sewer rates, 3% per year increase for water rates, and 4% per year increase in stormwater rates for each of the next 2 years. Altogether, the weighted percent increase calculates to 2.6%. The council can make a motion and vote on all 3 rate resolutions at once, or you can take them individually. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions, any discussion for Director? Thank you. No materials were submitted by the deadline for this public hearing. No one registered to speak for this public hearing. Does anyone in the audience who did not register wish to speak? You have anything? Nothing? Okay. I declare this public hearing closed at 7:17 p.m. Council discussion? Would the council like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to adopt the resolutions on page 49 and 50 for wastewater, page 67 for water, and page 74 for stormwater.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Thank you. Motion passes. Most resolutions pass. Okay. Item 6 on your agenda packet, public comment. Public comment is a time for Albany residents to speak and for the councilors to listen. The council won't discuss topics or make decisions during public comment, but will take comments or requests under advisement. Speakers are limited to 3 minutes and must follow the council rules and observe the same standards of decorum. If unable to do so, they will be asked to step down and take a seat in the audience for the rest of the meeting. When you get to the microphone, please give your name and state whether or not you live in the city of Albany, Oregon. Anybody signed up to speak? Thank you. First to speak is Amy Roberts. Thank you.
My name is Amy Roberts, and I am a citizen of Albany, inside city limits. Dear Albany City Council, my name is Amy Roberts. I am the chair of the Albany Library Board. The Albany Public Library has been an important part of our city since 1907. Since then, it has provided education, books, services, clubs, meeting spaces, and more for our community. It is an integral component of our city, one that needs to be afforded the high value that it provides for our residents. We would like to outline the cause and impact of funding challenges to the library and request a library materials line item be added to the city budget. 2 events have occurred which reduced funding and showed the low value that government has placed on our library and the impact it has on our community. The first event was very recent. The current federal administration has severely decreased both funding and staffing to the Institute of Museum and Library Services and the Library of Congress. This funding represents roughly 25% of the state library's overall budget. IMLS provides an enormous number of services, grants, and funds to the State Library of Oregon, which in turn funds and provides services for local city and school libraries. There is a temporary restraining order to keep the IMLS from shutting down completely, but we need to be prepared and aware that this can also change at any time. Their funding and services are critical to many of our library services, and while we will probably not feel the effects this year, there is potential devastation to many of our libraries programs next year and the year after that until the federal government again supports the IMLS. The second event is closer to home. During the 2019-2021 biennial budget, there was a small amount allowed for materials in the budget. In 2020, that line item was removed. This was a decision made by the previous executive director, but has been kept in place to avoid making more cuts to staffing. We are aware that the City Council did not make this decision, and we are also aware that staffing costs continue to rise. Currently, our materials funding is sourced from Friends of the Library, the Albany Public Library Foundation, and an endowment. None of these are fixed amounts from year to year, and the money has not been promised indefinitely. These funds depend on fundraising and the stock market, and those fluctuate. This means that there is no guaranteed amount that the APL will receive to purchase books and materials. There are also grants, but those are unlikely to be available for the next few years. We as a board appealed to the City Council to support the Albany Public Library. The fact that our library does not have a line item for materials in our budget is disappointing and demonstrates a lack of appreciation, understanding, and commitment to the benefits our library provides the community. We appreciate that the city is operating in a difficult financial climate. Staffing is most important, and we are aware that the cost of everything is rising and that income and taxes do not keep up. However, having a city library without a materials budget is untenable. We urge you to consider the benefits of our library.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Can you submit that so we can get it in the packet?
Yeah, everyone. I have made copies,
Right,
and
thank you.
everybody has that. Thank you.
Next on tonight's agenda is Mike Quinn. Still here? Oh, there he is.
My name is Michael Quinn. I'm a citizen of Albany, and that I'm here to talk about flags, but not what you guys might think. It might catch you off by surprise. I've actually spoken down here a couple times with staff, but it's deplorable to me that we have an American flag out on our pole, that if you look at protocol on how you keep a flag, and I think that our city manager would agree with me on this, if you look it up, you'll find out that when you have a flag that's tethered with the stripes of the bottom of the flag that wavers out in the air, when you get to the second stripe and it's tethered, you need to retire that flag. And we're worried about other flags, but we're not worried about our own American flag here. And I'd really like to see you guys, I would offer myself to pay for it if we can't afford it in the city budget. And anybody, Peter could call me and say, Mike, let's replace it, and I'll pay for it. So the thing about it is, we need to do something about that. You know, it really looks pretty horrendous to me. And especially if it's gonna be out there 24/7, and you got a light on it, of course. The lights really look good. I've come by here and stuff, but you can even see the tether in the flag. Let's replace the American flag here and worry about other stuff later or something, okay?
Thank you, Mike.
Thanks.
Michael. Next is the Director Grotto.
Thank you and good evening. Lisa Grotto, Albany Downtown Association. Just wanted to give you a quick downtown update. First, I want to let you know why you didn't see me last month. The first week of April, I was at the National Main Street Conference in Philadelphia. Got to see a lot of my counterparts, lots of education sessions, some tours, and a cheesesteak. And then the second week of April, I was at the Governor's Conference on Tourism for the first half of the week, and then attended the Oregon Heritage Summit the second half of the week. So I'm delighted to be back in Albany. Although last Thursday and Friday I was in Astoria at a Oregon Main Street Conference, or meeting. So on to the downtown. The Albany Downtown Association is excited to be part of National Historic Preservation Month. The Hidden History Scavenger Hunt continues through the end of the month. That's sponsored by the Natty Dresser, and that's where you go around looking for architectural elements in hopes to find where it's hiding. Another event that is still upcoming is the Albany Streetcar Tour that's put on by the Albany Regional Museum, and that's on Saturday, May 17th. We've been doing a series on downtown legacy businesses. Often you hear about the new businesses that open, but it's fun to also share the previous ones that have been around a little while. This month we featured the Frame House, 58 years. The Depot, our favorite fish and chips place, 49 years. Last month, Emma Downtown at 25 years and Jordan Jewelers at 32. Something else in our newsletter this month, as each month we highlight one of our volunteers. Valeria is our high school board member. She is a senior at South Albany High School, and we are excited to have her. She's planning to attend a four-year college, University of Mary, so we won't have her through the summer, but we are excited for the well-shaped ideas and her voice at our table. Also wanted to let you know that Flower Basket Hanging Day is coming up this Sunday. If there's anyone who would like to help us either find the little chains and put the zip ties on that are hiding in the flowers, or maybe help lift them up on top of the ladders, we could use our help. And then the last item is the Protect Our Downtown Business event that we're having on Monday, the 19th. Chief Marcia Harden and Chris Schindel will be making a presentation to downtown businesses, or really anyone that would like to learn more about avoiding scams and addressing homeless issues that impact businesses. So I thank you for your time.
Where's that meeting at?
It will be at the Carousel, and that's from 5:30 to 7 p.m., and we appreciate an RSVP so that we have enough cookies.
Thank you. Next is Tom Cordier.
Tom Cordy, I live in North Albany. I'm here to talk about the flag fiasco that's been happening since the last two meetings. The mayor at the work session called for the vote. No opportunity to object. Evidently haven't learned how to conduct a meeting and call for votes. And you did the same thing tonight. And so, Ms. McKee, you evidently didn't hear the.
Please don't point at me. Please, I've asked you that before. Do not point at me. You've done that before.
Did I point?
You did. I asked you to stop doing that. Don't do that. That's rude.
I didn't point at you at all. Evidently, you didn't get the Democratic message. We don't go back. And so you went back tonight, and you weren't even here during all those discussions about the struggle that this community went through to fly that flag. And I applaud Marilyn Smith for standing by your guns and actually discussing some of the items that were on Hasso's blog. I don't know if the council has read Hasso's blog, but 39 comments opposed to this flag motion that you guys did based on the original meeting on Monday. And apparently you guys don't listen to what the voters are saying. I was told a long time ago that if people wanted to have a voice to the council, put it on Hasso's blog. But I guess you don't do that anymore. That's the first item, and I got 1 minute left. This thing about only spending $120,000 on an electric street sweeper is absolute nuts. That was a Biden-era green program that the state applied for, and now you guys are applying as a third generation to get that money. Federal money is not free. How many hours has staff used already to develop permit to get the grant? How many hours are going to be spent doing the legwork to hire a contractor to build the electrical service? I was told that this thing is going to reduce the diesel fumes in the air, but now I hear, oh no, we're going to keep the old one and use the old one and the new one. So how does that reduce anything? The whole aspect of this thing is
thank you,
based
Mr.
on the
Cordier.
idea that
Thank
money
you.
is free,
Thank
and
you.
it's not.
Thank you, sir. And I would also ask you. Oh,
I did not hear you.
I'm gonna say it loud enough. Your personal attacks on me personally is ridiculous. I'm gonna ask you again to stop doing that. It's not okay.
Well, how would you refer to Ward 3?
I don't care. You need to stop pointing at me. This is the second time you've done that. Every time you got something negative to say, you always looking at me and directing your anger at me. It is ridiculous. You need to stop doing that. I've asked you once. I will not ask you again.
I'm not going to stop doing anything.
Yes, you will stop referring to me like that. Yes, you will.
enough. That's enough.
No, it's enough.
I have a
no.
freedom of speech in this country.
Tom?
You can't shut that down.
Mr. Cordier, please. Thank you. Next on tonight's agenda, item 7, action items. Item A, resolution intergovernmental agreement, IGA, with the Oregon Department of Transportation for the purchase of an all-electric street sweeper. Kristen Preston and Rob Romeo, pages 85 through 109 in your packet.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I haven't presented yet, so I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Kristen Preston. I'm the Operations Manager for Public Works, and I oversee the program and staff that operate and maintain our city utilities and transportation services for our community. So I have the next 2 items on your agenda. The first one is to seek approval to enter into an agreement with the Oregon Department of Transportation to accept a grant for the purchase for an all-electric street sweeper. During the budget process for the current biennium that we're in, street maintenance staff identified the need for a second street sweeper. And this is due to the ever-increasing sweeping demands as the city grows, the need for a backup sweeper when the existing one is down for maintenance, and a need for a different style of sweeper. We currently have what's known as a regenerative air sweeper, which is good for picking up the finer materials, and we were needing one that's a mechanical sweeper that has a big sweeping room to pick up the larger debris and leaves. We were interested also in a second sweeper as there's potential to contract sweep for ODOT and Benton County roads that are in Albany as a possible revenue source, and we can't currently do that with one sweeper in all the routes that we need to accomplish. So in 2023, we became aware of the Carbon Reduction Program grant that has the goal of reducing transportation-related greenhouse gas emissions. And the council at that time approved our application for this grant for an all-electric mechanical street sweeper. And we were notified later that year that our project was selected for award. So since that time, we've been working with ODOT staff on the process and the requirements for the city to purchase the sweeper and then being reimbursed by ODOT. Apparently, buying equipment is not a typical thing that ODOT funds. Usually it's construction projects. So it's taken some time to work through this, but the end result is this intergovernmental agreement that's in your packet. The project total cost is estimated to be $859,320. That includes the cost of the street sweeper, the charging equipment, which would be a level 2 charger like you have for your dryer, which is about $2,000, and our in-house city engineer, our city electrician will do that for us. It also includes a 10% contingency to cover cost increases, as well as ODOT admin costs to cover the grant. The grant award is limited to $739.82.41, and requires a city match of at least 10.27%. If fully expended, the city's required match would be $120,237.59, which is a 14% match. We don't expect we'll need the full 10% contingency. The cost of the sweeper has increased over the last 2 years, but is less than that 10%. And so the city's match is more likely to be about $100,000. The electric sweeper is expensive. It does cost about twice what a diesel sweeper costs. Those are typically $350,000 to $400,000. And so we'll be getting, if approved, an electric sweeper for about $100,000. There are adequate funds in the street maintenance and stormwater maintenance equipment replacement funds to fully fund the needed match. And these are the funds where we save money each year. It's our savings account for vehicle replacement. Since street sweeping benefits both street longevity and prevents stormwater pollution, we split the cost between the two programs. So it'll be 50-50 split between the two. This grant, there's been some questions, I know. This grant can only be used for the purchase of this electric sweeper. These funds can't be used for other things like repairing our streets. Staff is recommending council approve the intergovernmental agreement with the Department of Transportation to accept this grant. And you have a background memo and a resolution and the agreement in your packet, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Council, any questions? Please.
We received quite a few emails about this, and I just want to acknowledge that you hit a lot of the points that were in the email, so I appreciate you answering all of those questions. I also saw in emails a lot of support for road maintenance funding, so hopefully those folks will also be here or emailing us support when we are talking about a road maintenance fee. Also wanted to say this is really smart. This is a great example of being a good steward of the taxpayers' money, getting us a high-quality sweeper when we need one, for getting that money from the federal government as much as you possibly can. And I think this is a great deal, and I really appreciate all your work on that.
Thank you.
Councilor Smith, Councilor Thompson after that.
We have a couple of examples in the recent past of being without a street sweeper for an extended period. And so the idea of having a backup is prudent.
Right.
That's very good. I appreciate that. The other thing is, among the comments online, it was a veritable firestorm yesterday.
Oh, great.
Yeah, there was a lot of concern about this being a no-bid contract. There's no bidding involved. It was a grant that we applied for.
Right, the grant is what we applied for.
Yeah.
The next item is purchasing through a cooperative purchasing agreement.
Okay.
But there is competition for that as well.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Councilor Thompson.
Yeah, thank you. You hit all the key points, I think, that have been raised. I just want to emphasize, no, it's not free. The federal government, we still pay taxes to the federal government, but this is a great deal. And, I've been critical at times when the state tells us to do something, but here's an opportunity that just makes sense to do. And I know even long before I became on the council, during budget cycles, urging staff to seek out grants where possible. Here's a great example of that. And just thank you, just a great deal for the city.
Great, thank you.
Councilor McLeod.
I just wanted to echo the sentiments that we did receive some emails about this, and a common theme in interfacing with the public in Albany is the issue of street maintenance.
Right.
And I think that it is really important to be able to have street maintenance equipment that is up and running and usable, and can do a good job of keeping our streets clean, so that they are better able to stay in good repair
Right.
for as long as they can. So thank you for that.
Oh, thank you.
Other counselors? I was a part of the council that approved that grant request, so great job.
It was a long time ago.
It was a while ago, so I'm really glad it finally came through.
I know.
So thank you for your team's work on this and your work on this as well.
Thank
So
you.
council, I have a motion.
Yeah, I'll move to adopt the resolution for the intergovernmental agreement with ODOT for the purchase of an all-electric street sweeper.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Thank you, council. Next on tonight's is another resolution, item B, approve an exemption from the competitive bidding requirements to purchase an all-electric Global M4, sounds like a tank, electric street sweeper through a cooperative contract, sole Sourcewell in the amount of $859,000 and $859,320. Kim Preston and Rob Romeo are presenting.
I'm back.
Oh, you're back, okay.
Okay.
Pages 110 to 113 in your packet.
So thank you for the approval of that grant. And so the next step is buying the sweeper. So we're seeking approval to purchase this equipment through Sourcewell, which is a cooperative purchasing network for state and local governments, of which the city is a member. And they do a competitive process on a national scale to get us better rates. City procurement staff have reviewed the Sourcewell contract documents for this purchase, which meets all federal and state requirements for utilizing the grant, including the Buy America requirements. This particular equipment has 87% material sourced domestically and is assembled in the US. So it meets the Buy America requirements. The sweeper itself, the cost is estimated to be $824,766, and the grant will cover a bulk of that of $739,082.41. And again, there are adequate funds in our street maintenance and stormwater maintenance equipment replacement funds to fully fund the needed match. So staff is recommending council approve exemption from competitive bidding requirements to use an interstate cooperative contract with Sourcewell and authorize the Public Works Director to award and execute a contract with Western Systems for the purchase of the global product M4 supercharged electric sweeper and related supplies. And
Thank you.
yeah, thank you.
Council, questions or comments?
Comments? I hope that folks who have been concerned about this purchase are either watching or will watch the recording later on.
Yeah.
I have been encouraging people to get their news from the source rather than a filter. And as often as I can, I refer them to the website for the agenda materials and to the recordings of the meeting so they can see the whites of our eyes and hear us speaking and hear the staff report, which is really the important part. So,
thank you.
So one of the things I do a lot is I send recordings of our meetings to people that write me and say, why did you do this? I said, watch the meeting. It's about hour 21. Please listen to the staff
Super exciting. Go watch it.
Right. And that's also one of the reasons I asked the nonprofits to come, because they share on their website the meeting, right? And
Right.
so people get a chance to watch our meetings again on that local nonprofit's website. So thank you very much. Council, do I have a motion?
I move to approve the resolution exemption from competitive bidding requirements through a cooperative contract with Sourcewell for the purchase of an all-electric street sweeper and authorize the Public Works Director to award and execute a contract with Western Systems for the purchase of a global environmental products M4 supercharged electric sweeper and related supplies not to exceed $824,766.
Thank you, Counselor. I have a motion and a second. Thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Thank you, Council.
Thank you very much.
Next on tonight's agenda is a resolution, edit transportation system development charge. Resolution, Robert Edmonds, pages 114 to 124 in your packet. We talked about this Monday, didn't we? Yes, we did.
We did, yep. Thank you, Mayor Johnson. We discussed this Monday. I don't have anything further to add, so, but I would be happy to answer any questions if you've had time to think of any or ponder what's before you.
Can you refresh our memory of what the edit was?
Sure. So the edit added language to Table 2 of the resolution, which explained how the table works and how to formulate the charge within the table. And then we also added an additional ITE code, a code basically which allows us to further categorize businesses for their use. And so we added a specialty retail code which allows us to capture some of the businesses downtown, which kind of those niche businesses. So,
Thank you.
Council, any questions, discussion? Do I have a motion?
I move we adopt the proposed language edits to the Transportation SDC resolution, adding clarification to how fees are assessed.
I have a motion and a second. Thank you, Councilor McGee. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Thank you. Motion passes. Resolution passes. Next, adopt, item D, adopt by motion, award of contract for ST-24-03 North Albany Road Overlay in the amount of $655,915 to Roy Hauk Construction of Salem, Oregon. Stacy Belcastro and Chris Sirkleski will be here to talk to us. Pages 125 to 128 in your packet.
All right, thank you. Good evening, everybody. Staff is recommending that council award the contract for ST-24-03 North Albany Road Overlay to Roy Hauk Construction of Salem. We received 3 bids for this project. The low bid was $655,915. The engineer's estimate was $825,000. The project includes an asphalt overlay of North Albany Road from US Highway 20 to or just short of the Portland and Western Railroad tracks. Also included are updates to curb ramps and traffic signal pedestrian push buttons within the project area to meet requirements of the Americans with Disabilities Act. And ODOT actually during the project design agreed to pay for those ADA improvements at the intersection with US Highway 20. So that helped quite a bit. This section of North Albany Road was reconstructed in 2002 with funding from the 1998 General Obligation Street Bond. And that's the same asphalt from back in 2002, which has a bunch of cracks in it now because it's getting old. Yes.
Yeah.
So this asphalt overlay will preserve and extend the life of the pavement at the lowest long-term life cycle cost. So any questions?
Council, any questions? Councilor Montague?
Why did all of our bids come in so much lower than the engineer's estimate?
There's several reasons. The biggest thing what we're seeing this year is that there's just a lot of competition still in construction.
I mean, I'm not complaining, but
Right.
just wondering what's going on.
Everybody else is going up. This is like,
Yeah, so-
what?
Like, okay.
Yeah, so just today we opened, actually the last couple of weeks, we've opened a couple of bids and we've been getting good prices on things. So
Open
I
all the
think
bids, I guess.
apparently the construction world is a little bit slow right now, and so people are still looking for work, and we're glad to hand it out.
Good to hear.
Yay for us.
Comment.
Oh, please, Councilor Smith has a comment.
It seems like it was just yesterday that that road was built, and the reason that was it wasn't originally part of that bond measure, but we had a competitive bidding environment at the time, and we squeezed 2 more streets out of that money. One originally was supposed to be 4 or 5 roads, and we ended up with 2 more. So that's just, we're creating a legacy of bargain road repairs in North Albany.
Well, I worked at Agilent Technologies at that time, and I hated coming down 20 because all the construction that was going on. So
Yeah.
I do remember that. So.
Never hate road construction.
Right? Well, now I don't. But back then, it was like inconvenient. Council, any other questions or comments? Do I have a motion?
I move that we award the contract in the amount of $655,915 to the low bidder, Roy Horak Construction of Salem, Oregon.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Thank you. Your resolution passes. Your motion passes. Next on tonight's agenda is business from the council. I'm going to start with Ward 1, Councilor Thompson. Okay, thank you. Councilor Newton-Azor.
Hey, I wanted to thank both Amy Roberts and Mike Quinn for taking the time to come before us today during Business from the Public. To Amy's point about the library budget, I deeply appreciate the work of the Library Commission and the very thoughtful request to add a dedicated line item for library materials. Access to books and learning resources is foundational to a thriving, informed community, and I hope we can take a serious look at how to prioritize that in our budget planning moving forward. Great timing, by the way. And then to Mike's comment regarding the American flag. Thanks, Mike. I know you're not here anymore, but thank you for bringing this to our attention. The American flag is a powerful symbol, and it's important that we display it with the care and respect it deserves. I support us taking steps to ensure it's properly maintained and retired when appropriate.
Okay, thank you. Next is Counselor McGee. Nothing today. Counselor Marilyn Smith.
I attended the monthly meeting of the Homeless Engagement and Resource Team yesterday, as I do every month, and had the opportunity to talk about the low-income assistance program that the city contracts with Community Services Consortium to do. And that was also an opportunity to spread the information about the existence of the program to other people who were on that meeting call and there in person. So I got the word out there, aware that we're looking for information and that search is underway, and had a lot of good questions. It was informative for some people who have been around for a long time and remember when the program was limited to people who were elderly or disabled and low income, and now it's income based only, and the income threshold is higher. So, or more people are eligible. Anyway, that I took advantage of a captive audience and spread the word.
Thank you. Next is Counselor McLeod.
Thank you. I also wanted to thank Amy Roberts and Michael Quinn for their comments on the library board and the condition of the American flag. I had not realized that we did not have that line item budget funding for materials for the libraries, so thank you for bringing that to our attention. I would like to see that added. And thank you to Michael Quinn, who spoke on the condition of the American flag being flown outside City Hall. I had not noticed the condition of the flag, and I really appreciate that he brought it to our attention. City Manager, is there any, how do we do that?
Well, it's
How do we get that
already,
replaced?
we've already taken the steps to take
Yeah.
a look at it and gauge what kind of shape it's in. And our building maintenance folks will take care of it if it needs to be replaced.
And how long does that usually take?
Oh, I'm sure that it could be done tomorrow.
And then, and the actual replacement time, how long does that take? Just tomorrow?
Right.
Okay,
It's
so
just-
it could be replaced as early as
Just taking
tomorrow?
the flag down and putting a new one
And just
up.
putting a new one, so there is a new one, like,
I'm sure that,
at the ready?
right, yes.
Perfect, thank you. A couple more things. Yesterday morning, I received a tour of the Albany Police Department Public Safety Facilities led by Chief Herndon. I was surprised to learn that the department is quite wellness focused. They receive annual wellness training, are allowed shift time to use the on-site gym, which helps both their body and mind. And they have a restorative rest policy, and they even host yoga classes led by the Albany Fire Department. I learned that currently 22% of their workforce is female, and they have a goal to bring that up to 30%. So thank you for that tour and for all of that information. That was just a short little snippet of the information that I learned yesterday doing that. And also, I hope I'm not stealing the mayor's thunder, but last night my daughter and I went to attend an awards presentation at the Albany Fire Station at Station 11. Waventino Fuentes was presented the Albany Fire Department Civilian Award for Bravery for his actions on March 31st of this year when he saved the life of a neighbor from a house fire. This young man was called upon to assist a neighbor in trying to evacuate her brother from the house when she was outside and saw smoke coming from the home. The neighbor knew her brother was still inside and was unable to gain entry to the home. Mr. Fuentes called 911 and was able to force open a locked door to gain access. Mr. Fuentes truly did save a life that day and is well deserving of this award, the highest civilian award the department bestows. And so it was an amazing experience to be there, to watch the joy on his face and see the recognition on his face. I could truly tell that he was glad to be recognized for the hard work and bravery that he exhibited that day.
And his family as well.
And his family as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Montague.
Well, I wrote this up so that I wouldn't get too weepy, or at least I will be able to read it even if I do. So at the conclusion of this meeting, I will be stepping down from council. This is my last day. I just wanted to take a minute to express my appreciation to staff and to council and the mayor for all the work that has been done in the short time on my short time on council. While I've been here, we've discussed and decided on issues that will impact the city far into the future. I hope that work will continue with a forward-looking approach and with the understanding that growth is coming for Albany, and the decisions you make here now are to set us up for success when that growth does come. I will also make my plea to the remaining council to fix the problem of local road maintenance funding and not continue to pass that problem on like past councils have chosen to do. You are here to make the hard decisions. Please do that. I also want to express my appreciation to the residents of Albany who chose me to represent them on this council. Thank you for being a voter. It is important. And when you do doubt that, talk to a local candidate that has won or lost by 100 votes. I will end with this. This is not goodbye. This is I'll see you when I see you.
Thank you, Counselor. Damn, okay. I appreciate your service, and I'm sure all the council will have to say a few words. You guys good? Would like to say something? Okay. Okay, well, we get together for lunch or a beer or something. Okay, thank you. Thank you for talking about the awards. I appreciate that. So she did steal my thunder, but that's okay. She did a great job. So good there. Scratch that off. Done. Oh, Counselor, yes, he went first. He went first.
He
I
had
started
nothing.
with that side. Yeah. So this is something that's alarming to me as an insurance broker. More and more insurance companies are leaving, especially Medicare companies are leaving the state. I received word today that 2 new companies are leaving the state, basically leaving their clients, my clients, in the lurch. So if your parents or somebody that you care for that's on Medicare gets a notice, believe them. A lot of companies have left the state, and I think it's with the trending right now, more and more are going to be doing that. So just to put that out there, however, people are going to call those people that have those plans, and they're scammers. What I recommend them to do is to call their agent or call me or call somebody in the area that they trust to make sure that they're not getting scammed. That's one thing there. Today, I received a letter saying that we will receive our Community Development Block Grant Funds award over $373,000. I did not foresee that happening, so I immediately sent it over to Matthew Rutgers for his department to deal with, but it was a shock to my system this morning that we didn't think the money was going to come. So I'm excited about that. Huh?
$700,000.
No, 373.
377. Okay, I was like $700,000. Oh my gosh.
And then this Friday, I'll be testifying in front of the legislature regarding low-income housing for veterans, the Y Project, and also other projects in town. What the things that we're doing here in Albany, I was requested to speak on that on behalf, and I sent my comments in already, but I'll be doing that on Friday at 1 o'clock with the legislature. So apparently Albany has a pretty good reputation about housing. And then I want to thank Matthew Rutgers. Is he still here? So I want to thank Matthew Rutgers because I know I'm out front on the If I Were Mayor contest and going to the schools, but if it wasn't for Matt's work and connecting me with teachers and the parents, the program would fail. So Matthew is he's like a chief in the Navy that gets all the things done that the officers take credit for. So I'm going to say, Matthew, thank you very much for the work that you've done in the program in the last 4 years.
Harrington.
Matt. I said Matt. I call him Matthew. I call him Matthew. I did say Matt Rutgers? Okay. So I owe you a beer, Matt. Matt.
Which
Okay, both of y'all. Don't even worry about it. Anyway, Matt Harrington has been a integral part of making this program a success, and our children have done quite well. And Matt Harrington is the one that pulls the schools in and gets me appointments and sets everything up for the success of the program. So Matt, thank you very much for the work you do. And this is the fourth year that our children have gotten first, second, or third in state, 2 of them, and 3 winners in state. So it's a really great program, and I really appreciate Matt's support going forward. Matt Harrington's support going forward. And with that, now I'll turn it over to the city manager.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Tomorrow is Peace Officer Memorial Day. So you saw a lot of police officers get recognized this evening, but I would like to recognize the whole police department for what they provide for our community on a daily basis and what their families have to do in order to support them and to worry about them. Then it's Public Works Week, and Chris Bailey mentioned you'd have a heavy agenda this evening with Public Works stuff. But I appreciate Councilor Smith talking about stewardship, but it's worth bringing your attention back to the composting program and how that represents astoundingly good stewardship of our resources. Then the Shrub Hub program that they've created. And then lastly, I will tell you that if you think about this electric sweeper that we need, well, actually, let me say we need a sweeper. And you've heard that a diesel-powered one would be $400,000. An electric one would be $800,000. What's lost in this is that we're getting it for $100,000. So whether you're looking at diesel or electric, it's either a 400% return or an 800% return, which is astounding and exemplifies what the public works staff do. This Friday, I think you all know that we are providing a tour of street maintenance issues, focusing on street maintenance issues for Senator Gelser Bluen. Councilors are invited to attend. I think just about all of you have RSVP'd that you would, if you can. We have noticed that so that we've gone on record publicly that there will be a quorum of you all present. We don't anticipate talking about any business, but you will see stuff that is definitely city business. That's the whole point of the trip. Okay, then the last thing I'd like to do is ask Councilor Montague if she would come down to the floor, and the mayor. I wanted to say that, you know, on the staff, we count on a council that's interested and engaged and takes care of their package every time we send it out. And we know that you've done that. We appreciate the fact that you've served for the over 2 years that you've served. And again, just thank you from our hearts. We much appreciate it. We wish you all the best in your new endeavor.
Thank you.
And I want to thank you for your service as well, because she is my city councilor.
Yeah.
So I do appreciate the work you've done on staff and also your thoughtful responses and feedback you've given to staff, and also the counsel you've given me when we had a chance to talk. So congratulations, and on to bigger and better things. Thank you.
Thank you.
This right here. Thank you, Councilor.
I have nothing further, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you, Peter. City Manager. So, item 10, next meeting dates is Thursday, May 22nd, 2025. Budget Review Committee at 5 p.m. Tuesday, May 27th, 2022, at 5 p.m., a Budget Review Committee. It's tentative, of course, if necessary. Wednesday, May 28th at 6 p.m. for a City Council meeting. And Monday, June 9th, June 9th, 2025, at 4 p.m. for a work session. I'll be 60 next week. I know. And with that, I'll adjourn the meeting. Thank you very much for being here, man.